Chapter 10, The Routine. Reader, I don't want to bore you with every detail of our robot's farm routine. Many of her tasks were incredibly dull, others were quite unpleasant. I'll just say that on any given day, Roz might have to be a mechanic, or a veterinarian, or a gardener, or a plumber, or a cleaner, or a landscaper, or a carpenter, or an electrician, or all of the above. Farm life kept Roz very busy indeed. Of course, she did have help. You already know about some of the machines, but the entire farm was equipped with technology that made life easier for everyone. Doors and gates opened automatically. The cows wore electronic collars that kept track of their health automatically. When a cow's udders were full, she simply had to stroll into the parlor where she'd be milked by gentle machines automatically. All that milk was piped into storage tanks and cooled and bottled automatically. Once the milk truck was loaded up, it drove away and made its deliveries automatically. Mr. Sheriff managed the business side of the farm. He dealt with customers and handled money and ordered supplies, and he did it all from the comfort of his home office. Now that he had a robot to do all the farm work, he hardly ever left the house. Rosmore was more content than she had ever expected to be. Most of her time was spent outdoors with animals under the wide open sky. Even while laboring in the fields, she could always stop to smell the flowers, look up at the clouds, feel the cold air drifting out from the trees. And yet, Roz was living two lives. When she had her home to herself, she could play with the cows, or run through the grass, or chat with the wildlife. But whenever the sheriffs were near, Roz had to pretend to be a normal robot. She could never let them know who she really was. Chapter 11, The Stragglers. Wild geese are known for migrating in the autumn and the spring, but exactly when a flock migrates is up to its members. Some flocks choose to fly early in the season, others straggle far behind, and it was one of those straggling flocks that caught the attention of a robot. Honk, honk, honk. The geese were heard before they were seen. Their honking voices echoed across the farm, and the flock appeared above the field, flying in a wobbly V formation. They glided over the pasture and plunked down into the pond. None of them were very concerned as Roz approached. The geese had seen similar creatures on other farms, and they knew they were nothing to fear. But they were about to learn that our robot was very different from the others. "Hello, geese," said Roz. "Welcome to Hilltop Farm." The geese froze. They stared at Roz with suspicious eyes. And then the biggest goose slowly swam over. "I've come across plenty of monsters like you," he said, "but I've never met one who could talk." "I am not a monster. I am a robot. My name is Roz." The goose scratched his head. "Well, it's nice to meet you, Roz the robot," he said. "My name is Wingtip. This is my flock." Roz gave a friendly wave, and soon the flock was gathering around, curious to meet this odd character. As you can imagine, the geese were shocked to learn that Roz had a goose for her son. They asked her all kinds of questions about Brightbill and about her old life on the island, and about her new life on the farm. Then Roz asked a question of her own. Do you think Brightbill's flock would ever come this way on her migration? Doubtful, said Wingtip. It sounds like his flock takes the eastern flyways. They'd never come this far west. The robot slumped with disappointment. However, we geese are full of surprises, added Wingtip. I'll promise you this, Roz. If we ever meet Brightbill, we'll point him in your direction. The talk was interrupted by giggling and barking. The children were taking their dog for a walk. Roz couldn't be seen chatting with geese, so she whispered a quick goodbye to her new friends and went back to work. And when she looked down at the pond later that day, she saw that the flock was gone. Here's the picture. Chapter 12. The Homesick Robot. We all feel homesick at one time or another. Even the robot felt something like homesickness. Roz belonged with her son and her friends on her island. She was determined to find her way back there. But how? The robot was seen doing anything unusual. Mr. Sheriff might have her destroyed. Roz had to be careful, so she calmly went about her farm work day in, day out. But all the while, the homesick robot was secretly planning her escape.